As a young woman, Betty's sister Mary Ellen went to Germany to play the violin in an orchestra. There she met her husband Detlev, a cellist. We visited them in their home in the village of Hillscheid, which is in the midst of a nature park near Koblenz. On the way, we stopped in New York, where we saw Sonya and met her boyfriend Aaron. We saw Sasha and Kate and met their son Elan. We arrived early in the morning, and Mary Ellen Detlev took the train and met us at the hotel. We took a tour of Norman Foster's addition to the Reichstag building, which was rehabilitated in the 1990s and became occupied by the Bundestag, the German parliament, in 1999. Nearby is the memorial for the Jews who were murdered in the Holocaust. I visited Berlin in 1964 and went through the wall at Checkpoint Charlie. I photographed this imposing-looking building only to find out a half-century later it was the concert house where we heard Hilary Hahn. The museums in Berlin are amazing. We were there a week and we just scratched the surface. This is the Babylonian Ishtar Gate, excavated in the early 1900s. Berlin has an excellent transportation system, with surface streetcars, which I loved, and the U-Bahn that Mary Ellen mastered.
Jetzt mag schon!
Reminders of World War II, the Holocaust, the Soviet era, and the wall are everywhere in Berlin. But I was preoccupied with an earlier time. My mother was born in Berlin in 1906. My grandfather, a tailor who had left Odessa with his growing family, was learning fashion design in Berlin. They went to America when my mother was still an infant, but Berlin at the beginning of the 20th century, it was a focal point of modernity, of art, of fashion, of egalitarianism, of science and medicine, and a melting pot for Eastern European Jews. A Jewish attorney drafted the Weimar Constitution. What a remarkable place and time, and what a remarkable person to have situated himself here. After 7 nights in Berlin, we took the train to Hillscheid, where we met Henry and visited Mary Ellen Detlev's garden. We went to a trout farm, where we got fresh trout for another delicious meal. After a few nights in Hillscheid, we spent a week in the Falls, a region of forests, small vineyards, and ancient small villages. There we hiked every day and sampled the local wines. Sometimes we got a little lost on the trail. We stopped at this very small winery where we had new wine and onion cake. The man on the right here is the 13th generation winemaker.
Das ist rotes Sandstein und wir sind auf dem Weg in der Pfälzerwaldhütte, wo wir was zu essen bekommen. Und vielleicht ein Schoppenwein, eine Schorle werden wir trinken. In diese Richtung.
We had a meal here and then got back on the trail.
Ein Lokal bestellt zum Essen. Das
Ja.
wird nichts.
Das ist jetzt schon morgen Abend machen.
Sie macht.
We walked in the vineyards and tasted the grapes. After a week of wonderful hiking, we went back to Hillside for the comforts of home and more hiking. And then we took the train to Amsterdam. We visited the Rijksmuseum. Our hotel was on this canal. This image, referring to Schubert's Trout Quintet, was explained to us.
He was the beginner of the Royal Dutch Symphonic Orchestra.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and he lives here. His wife still lives here. And when he was 80 years old, the orchestra gave him this.
We visited the Amsterdam History Museum. Looking great, dear. And the Van Gogh Museum. After a thorough hydration at Schiphol Airport, we got on the airplane and flew toward Reykjavik on our way to New York. Back in New York, we received a warm welcome at Leslie and Bob's. And suddenly we were in New York again. We saw Sonya again, and we went to the Carlisle Hotel where we had drinks at the Bimmelman's Bar. After that, we had dinner at Italy. We walked on Lower Manhattan. BJ arranged a tour of a temporary art installation on what will be the next addition to the High Line. Afterwards, we met Alain again. Then we said goodbye to Sonya and through the miracle of time and space we return to San Francisco.